Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're diving into something that seems to be on everyone's mind. What's really happening in LA? The media might paint a completely different picture, but I'm here to tell you the truth, straight from the heart of Hollywood. Now, a lot of you might have been watching cable news, hearing about LA being a totalitarian hellscape, filled with chaos and anarchy. But let me tell you, that's far from the truth. The reality is far more ordinary than the doom and gloom headlines. Hollywood tonight? It's not the apocalypse, it's just another evening with a Disney Pixar movie premiere happening right outside our studio. They're screening Elio, a film about aliens. Imagine that. Aliens, not chaos. But you won't hear about this kind of news on your regular broadcast. Instead, what we see is the media magnifying the smallest incidents to create the illusion of anarchy. There are protests happening across the city, yes, but these are peaceful demonstrations by Los Angeles residents standing up for what they believe in. What the media doesn't show you is the true humanity of these protests. The truth is, a lot of people are being abducted, and I mean that seriously. People who have lived here their whole lives and done nothing wrong are being taken off the streets, detained without a cause. The real issue isn't the protests, but the abuse of power. There are agents in masks, just snatching people off the streets without due process. And then, what happens next? They're sent to detention centers, and that's what people are protesting against. It's our right to voice opposition, and it's our responsibility as Americans to stand up against this injustice. But instead of seeing the truth, we're told the narrative that these are just riots. When someone sets a fire in a trash can, 12 camera crews rush to the scene to cover it like it's the end of the world. Now, let me talk about our president for a second. President Trump is making a mess of everything. He wants chaos, it's clear. He inflates the situation and tries to create a sense of war in LA. And to make matters worse, he calls in 4,000 troops from the National Guard and even 700 Marines. But do you remember what happened when wildfires ravaged LA? Nothing. No action, no help. But now, when there's no emergency, we've got all these troops being sent in. It's a bizarre reversal of priorities. When fires are destroying entire parts of our city, no help was sent. But when we have peaceful protests, suddenly it's an emergency. Do you see the problem here? This is not about safety, it's about control. It's about inflating fear to distract people from what's really going on. And let's not even get started on Trump's ridiculous talk about forest fires. He went on to say that California doesn't have forest fires because they don't clean the floor of leaves. What does that even mean? If you think this is crazy, wait until you hear him say that trees in the U.S. are more flammable than those in California. The man can't even keep track of basic facts and yet claims to have all the answers. The bottom line is this. Trump's lies are tearing this country apart. He wants us to believe that violence is the answer. He lies about the situation, and people in this country are buying into it. But here's what he doesn't understand. People aren't angry just for the sake of anger. They're angry because they see wrongdoing happening right in front of them. These protests aren't about chaos. They're about justice, real justice. Yes, there will always be bad apples in any group, whether in protests or in law enforcement. But those problems don't define the entire movement. And yet we're seeing the president inflame the situation, pushing more lies, creating more chaos. His goal is clear. Divide us. He wants to turn Americans against each other, to the National Guard members and law enforcement officers who are caught in this mess. Do the right thing. You don't have to blindly follow immoral orders. We see you, and we know you care about justice too. Here's the truth. The vast majority of people being arrested or detained are innocent. They came to this country to work, to give their families a better life, just like all of our families did. And now they're being treated like criminals. This is not the America we should be proud of. But what we have to do now is be smart. Trump wants us to tear this city apart. He wants the chaos, the fear, and the anger. But we can't let him have it. We have to keep pushing for peaceful protest, and we have to stand strong together. Because no matter how much chaos he tries to create, it won't stop the truth from coming out. It's time for all of us to take a stand, not just for ourselves, but for our neighbors, for our communities, for the safety of all. Let's not let fear and division define us. Let's make sure that our voices are heard loud and clear, because in the end, we are stronger together. Now, let's look at how all of this is affecting regular Angelenos. What people often fail to understand is that the people on the streets protesting aren't some violent group. They are average citizens, individuals who are fed up with the state of things. They want change, they want accountability, and they are simply exercising their right to speak up. These are the same people who love their city, who contribute to its vibrant culture, and who have worked hard to build lives here. Yet, instead of listening to them, what do we see? The media continues to focus on a few outliers, those who might throw rocks or set fires, and paints the entire movement with the same brush. That's not only unfair, it's dangerous. It divides the city even more. It pushes people away from the real issues. The real issue is not the small number of violent actions. The issue is the systemic problems that these protests are trying to highlight. We need to ask ourselves, why are so many people upset? Why are thousands of Angelenos taking to the streets? The answer is simple. They are fed up with the constant abuses of power. They are angry because they see the government not only failing to help during crises, but also actively working against the people it's supposed to protect. Whether it's through immigration policies, the treatment of peaceful protesters, or the lack of help during the wildfires, the government is showing a blatant disregard for the needs of its citizens. And yet, instead of fixing the real problems, the administration continues to create distractions, fake news, manufactured chaos, and an unnecessary military presence. We saw this with the wildfires earlier this year. The National Guard was sent in, but not to fight fires, just to stoke the flames of fear. The real hero in this situation wasn't President Trump. It was the brave firefighters, the everyday people who helped their neighbors, and the first responders who did the real work. At the same time, Trump continues to downplay real threats, like the violence in Russia and the crisis in Ukraine, while making it seem like LA is some sort of war zone. His need to generate fear in the hearts of Americans is unparalleled. And why? To distract. To get people to turn their attention away from the real problems and focus on fictitious enemies, because that's how he gets votes. That's how he rallies the base. By keeping the country divided and angry, he knows he can win more control. But here's the thing. We're smarter than that. We've seen this tactic before, and we know how to fight it. We need to come together, regardless of what the media or politicians want us to believe. The city of LA is built on diversity, on immigration, on the contributions of people from all walks of life. And that's what makes us strong, our differences. It's not about turning against each other. It's about standing together in the face of adversity. We can't let President Trump manipulate us into thinking that fighting each other is the solution. Because the truth is, this isn't about immigration. It's about power. It's about controlling the narrative, creating fear, and dividing the country. And that's what we can't let happen. This city was built on immigration, and it will continue to thrive on immigration. LA has always been a melting pot, a place where people from different countries, backgrounds, and cultures come together to build something great. And we can't let anyone, especially the president, tear that down. So to all the Angelenos out there, whether you're protesting or not, whether you agree with the movement or not, you need to remember one thing. We're all in this together. This city belongs to everyone, from the working class to the business owners, from the immigrants to the long-time residents. LA is a city that thrives because of its diversity, not in spite of it. And the way forward is not through division, but through unity. We need to continue to protest peacefully, speak out when we see injustice, and ensure that we don't let this administration divide us. As much as they want to, the truth will always come out. The strength of LA and the strength of this nation lies in its people, not in fear, but in unity. In closing, President Trump may want to see chaos, but what he doesn't realize is that the people of LA are stronger than the lies he's spreading. We're not going to let him tear us apart. We're going to keep standing up for what's right and keep fighting for a better future, and the truth will always prevail.